Jack Smith has officially filed a notice of appeal saying he is going to be appealing the ruling from Judge Aileen Cannon in the Mar-a-Lago classified documents case, saying that he was not constitutionally appointed and therefore she dismissed all charges. Now, in her ruling dismissing all the charges, she did not rule on whether or not what Donald Trump did was criminal or anything like that. Basically, all she said was Jack Smith wasn't constitutionally appointed because he wasn't appointed by the president and confirmed by the Senate, which to me sounds like, a nitpick there. Not to mention every other judge who has heard any sort of appeal like this or has had a request like this, including judges going against Donald Trump, have all said this isn't a thing. Judge Tanya Chutkan said that is not how this works in the Washington, D.C. case. Hunter Biden tried saying that his special counsel wasn't constitutionally appointed in his gun case. And the judge in both of those cases said, yeah, that's not how that works. The DOJ and the Attorney General can't appoint special counsels, and they moved on. But Donald Trump seems to think this is a winning argument. His hand-picked judge, Judge Cannon, has said, sure, she went along with it, and said, no, Jack Smith wasn't constitutionally appointed. So she dismissed the charges. Now, Jack Smith is going to officially appeal. And what he could do is he can appeal it directly to the 11th Circuit, which I believe is what he's going to do, and get her overturned. He could also potentially try to appeal it straight to the U.S. Supreme Court. Now, they are on their current recess. They will not be back in session until October. I don't know if, with asking for an expedited appeal, if they would even look at it until then, or if how that procedure would work out. But those are a couple options. Now, even after this goes all the way through, and I think this will probably eventually end up at the Supreme Court, even though Clarence Thomas has said he wanted to look at the constitutionality of this. I think he is the outlier as well. Again, I don't think the rest of the Supreme Court is going to be willing to overturn the constitutionality of appointed special counsels, because the whole point of the special counsel was to make them independent of the political process. So they hired a special counsel out, like in Jack Smith's case, he'd been trying war crimes in The Hague. He was not even currently living in the United States at the time he was appointed. He was completely independent of the judicial process, and he kind of operated, for the most part, on his own without DOJ supervision. But Merrick Garland could have stepped in at any point and done whatever he thought necessary, but Merrick Garland just left him alone. We have used these for decades and decades and decades, and the courts have always held they are constitutional. This is the outlier case. Even though this Supreme Court likes to overturn precedent, I don't see them doing this. And if they do, it would look even worse for Clarence Thomas, because the DOJ has been asked to appoint a special counsel to look into Clarence Thomas for his bribery and corruption and misdeeds that way. So we'll see what happens there, but as of right now, Jack Smith is planning to appeal this, and I think ultimately he will end up back on the case. Those charges will get refiled, and it will probably end up in front of a different judge.